So it's time for another gardening week, and I'm busy today planting up radish and turnips, and I'm hoping to get those radish and turnips out of the ground in time to put a late crop of spinach in this bed. So, like everything at this time of year, it's a bit of a race against time, but I think it's worth it. The benefits are good. And one of the things with spinach in particular is that the crop that I'm going to be planting in this bed here, which is going to be ready for planting next week, that is going to be very prolific. So I don't need a lot of spinach in mid-autumn basically. I need a lot by the time we get to winter. And so this bed, which will get planted up in October, will sort of come on stream about mid-November probably, which is just when this bed will start to slow down a bit and I'll need more spinach available. So hopefully you can see these radish, they're a little bit leggy, so I'm planting them really deep down to about this point here. So that's the radish all in. I've got these nice little turnips to go in now. So these were actually sown 30th of July. So they're a bit slow turnips to get going by comparison with radish. And these are probably a bit overdue for planting out, but they should do fine now. And they're in one of these crinkly module trays, so they're going to make a lot of noise. So when I can, I always just give things a bit of a water. In this case, I've really watered the modules well and the ground's nice and wet, so I'm just watering just to get all the soil off the leaves. And I think these will look a lot healthier in a week's time. Look a bit floppy at the moment. So I'm just ripening these two melons, so I'm going to close up this cold frame and put it on a nice sort of 8-inch vented setting. That'll keep those turnips and radish nice and warm. I need to accelerate growth as quickly as possible now because I really want them out of here, as I said, by early October. So my next job today is take out these Sarpo axonas, and first thing I'm going to just cut off all the tops, rake up the strulch, and then take the potatoes out, recondition the bed, just like I've done on that one there, and then I'll put a cover and chains up as well, just like I did with that one there. So hopefully you can see how good this strulch is for weed suppressant. Really the only significant weeds is a bit of a mare's tail, and you're never going to stop that, and just the odd annual weed. Just try and get these out and get this cleared now so that I can get the strulch raked up. And obviously the reason I'm doing that and not pulling the potatoes out yet is because I don't want to mix the soil into the strulch. I just want the strulch on its own, all bagged up ready for next year. This is one of the things I really like about the strulch, is just how great it is, how easy it is just to rake it off the compost layer and bag it up. It really takes literally 10-15 minutes or something for a bed this size, which is just great, given the incredible reduction in watering that's required, or pretty much eliminating the need to water for the potatoes and for the peppers, just down to once a week and a quick water at that. Yeah, it's fantastic. So I like to just start off just by pulling the roots out. I don't tend to compost the roots, so I just pull those out separately, and any old seed potatoes, they come out as well and go in there. Little ones go in the bin. With these sarpos, you do tend to have a lot of potatoes left in the ground after pulling out the roots, so you have to dig around a little bit for them, but looking quite nice so far. I don't grow particularly good potatoes in my ground, nowhere near as nice as my carrots, but even so I think they're looking okay. One more and I'll have to start rummaging around. Right, so I just give this, I've just sort of stamped all over it with my feet just to settle it down nicely, and levelled it out with my rubber rake and tamped it down, and now I'm ready to just give it a sprinkle of bloodfish and bone, and once I've done that I'll put some fresh compost down. As you can see, my homemade compost is deliciously woody, but it does seem to do the job. It's basically just made from the same wood chips that I use for my paths. I try to find a mix that's got a lot of green in it. It's just delivered to the allotment site every few weeks, and and then I add an enormous amount of my own greens as I just gradually sort of turn it, add more greens, turn it, add more greens. So there's a lot of nutrition in it, but it is very coarse, and plants don't seem to mind though if you're planting modules. It's only if you're growing from seed really that the roughness matters, and I grow very few things. Well, I grow everything from seed, but I grow very few things direct seeded into my beds. So even with carrots or something like that, I'll just make a drill and sort of put some fine compost into the drill, and then the carrots obviously don't mind that the rest of it's a little bit woody, and it doesn't really matter that there's a bit of straw underneath this either, because of that bloodfish and bone. That'll provide plenty of nutrients, even if a bit of nitrogen is taken up composting the straw. So give that a tamp down as well once I've got it level. There we go. I like to plant into firm compost. So I've put the covers on, I've attached the chains. I really like these chains, they're so easy to fit, so easy to adjust, and hopefully they won't rust too badly. They should last me a good few years. Makes it really easy, so much easier harvesting from these beds when you've not got anything to lean your covers onto. So in this case I've got trees behind. Obviously they will blow over if it's a windy day, so what I tend to do is I just use these hooks here and just fasten a bit of string to the tree or something like that just to hold them open. But really convenient by comparison with the way that I used to have them. I've got them on all the pepper beds and everything now, really great. So next up I've got these parsley plants to pop in. I've already put some pots in to mark the planting locations, and I sowed these 3rd of July I think, so they're fairly young plants. They shouldn't go to seed on me. It's too hot in the polytunnel at the moment though, so I'm just going to pop these in this container that's just outside the door, and then I'll move them inside, probably like the middle of October or something like that. Yeah, they're reasonably okay. I do like parsley in the polytunnel. It's, it grows so lush and healthy. I'll probably take all these leaves off, and let it regrow soon, and get these dried. And the variety is Champion Curled. And obviously I know that parsley will survive outside, but yeah, it's so much better grown in the polytunnel. I always say it'll survive outside, but it'll thrive in the tunnel. I might even have a little bit in the greenhouse as well. I've got some smaller plants than these. I might have a bit of space. There we go, that looks okay. I'll water that in. Oh, so that's me pretty much done now for September. Prepared all my beds ready for planting. Got the polytunnel planted with its interim crops ready for replanting completely in October. So all I've really got to do in September now, gardening wise of course, is lots of seed sowing, lots of seedling planting, and lots of harvesting and dehydrating and making passata and things like that. So it's going to be a nice leisurely September, and that is really good news because the weather's looking really pretty good for September. So I'm going to be doing a lot of hiking and cycling and stuff. So yeah, I think with that we'll bring it to a close. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment Channel, and I'll see you soon. Right, so at the end of the gardening week, and nice little table of harvest here. I'm on my own today, so I've done the harvest a little bit different, and I'll very quickly take you through it. So we have a lot of carrots still, well hopefully this number, every week of the year, and same with the red cabbages and the kales. And this is the way I box everything up, so for each person we're feeding, I like to do a nice little box. I'm doing 4 people this week. So a bit of red cabbage, various different types of kale, a couple of boxes of mixed flowering brassicas for each person, and aren't those gorgeous? And it was interesting actually today because I was harvesting from my plot, which has a brassica bed which is extremely shady, and as a result has really small cauliflowers and calabreses, and Debbie's plot, which is in full sun, which has relatively huge calabrese heads. So I thought it was quite interesting. Picked a few different tomatoes. So these are all for cooking. The tomatoes for the salads are already in the salads. And my first melon. I've actually got 2 melons, but that is the first one that, if you smell it, it's super sweet, is definitely ripe. So the other one should be ready for next week, and I'll get that bed replanted. A few courgettes. They're not slowing down in terms of quantity, but the sizes are definitely slowing down. It's those nighttime temperatures dropping well below 10 degrees now. Same with the cucumbers. Still a reasonable number of cucumbers, but not the sort of same growth rate and size. I've reduced the amount of Asian greens I'm sowing at this time of year, just 2 tubs at the moment. But that is enough to give me a really nice bouquet of Asian green leaves for the salad mixes, so I'm pretty happy with those. Beans, just picking the beans from my little bean frame this year, not this year, at the moment, this month. Left the ones on Debbie's plot to grow on for seed. The peppers. I've got 3 pepper beds, I'm just picking from 2 of them this week. And what a lovely selection of peppers. It's hard to see them here, so I'll just show you them on the allotment. And yeah, really, really lovely, the peppers. And I gave a few away to the allotment society today because they're having a little barbecue thing. So there's a few peppers for the burgers, and they gave them a few salad boxes as well. And yeah, the sweet corn's looking lovely. Again, I don't want to pick too much of it because I can pick it midweek as well. And you know, obviously it's better to eat it fresh. But I mean, people do obsess, I think, about the sweet corn, that you've got to sort of like pick it and then run home as fast as you can and cook it straight away and eat it within seconds. You know, we stick it in the fridge and eat it 2 or 3 days later, and everybody just loves it just as much as when it's picked absolutely fresh. Just a few salad onions and a few leeks, and I think that is pretty much it. So my name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel. I'll see you soon.